Bamkast.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We want to welcome you from National Theatre of Sarajevo. As you already know, this is the Kiss the Future AI Summit, happening second year consecutive in Sarajevo and hosting the biggest names in the AI industry. Today I'm speaking with Simone Larsson. She's representing Lenovo. Simone is a lady with more than 20 years of experience in the digital transformation, in the IT, and especially AI. Simone is leading EMEA, and we will speak about what Lenovo sees in the market, which are the opportunities, where is the AI, and a lot of other topics. Simone, thank you very much for attending the summit, and special thanks for coming into my studio.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, you were the speaker on the main event. So basically, let's speak a bit about what has been spoken on as a topic.
Yeah, so you caught me at a good time because I literally just got off the stage. I sat on a panel with the likes of Microsoft and Fujitsu, and we were talking about agentic AI and how perhaps, an agentic AI agent will be one of our newest team members in the not so near future. So it was an interesting dialogue around ethics, responsibility, how mature the technology is, some of the underlying infrastructure that's needed to run these workflows and these processes. But more importantly, we looked at it from a human perspective, like what does that mean for human employees, and will our creativity be taken away? So it was a good panel, I think.
Yeah, it was amazing, and the house was, it was a full house.
It was.
And I'm really happy that we have the opportunity to speak today in Sarajevo about all of it. I want to ask you, should we be afraid of the AI agents and the AI overall?
I don't think so. I think from a maturity perspective, AI is good at three things. So prediction, imitation, and pattern recognition. I think perhaps as AI matures, we might need to stop and take a pause in the next 5 to 10 years. And I think because when OpenAI launched ChatGPT in November 2022, the world did a collective gasp, and there was an aha moment because all of a sudden access to AI tools was democratized. So before, for me, it was simply everything was custom built. And it was really super smart PhD students and consultants driving the course. I think now, because ChatGPT was launched, there's a thinking and there's a hype cycle going on about, how mature it is and it's going to take over the world. I don't think we're there yet, right? I think organizations are still struggling to embed it into their business processes. They're still struggling to achieve ROI. But perhaps, in 2030, we can stop and take a look around the field. But as of today, not worried.
It's still early.
Still early.
Since you're covering the EMEA region, what would you say that maybe are the biggest challenges for the enterprise organizations? Are there in terms of adoption, or are there in terms of understanding and stuff? So what do you see as the biggest challenges today?
So earlier this year, we did a CIO report in conjunction with IDC, where we interviewed about 3,000 C-suite and C-suite adjacent executives across the globe just to get a pulse on AI. And some of the top challenges they were highlighting were data. It's still messy and it's still siloed. Access to talent, and then also ROI. Right? So, but on the ground, as I speak to customers, what I'm hearing is a lack of understanding and being able to differentiate from the hype to actually what's practical, and applications of AI that'll solve business problems that are affecting their P&L. I think there's been a lot of POCs that have not scaled into production. So there's a crevasse that organizations need to jump over once they have a POC that's been successful. And I've been in AI for about a decade, tech for over 20 years, and from a POC and pilot perspective, what I've noticed is that organizations, they're really excited to go and define their use cases and their problem areas, but they don't think past what the success factors should be for that POC. Do they have the enabling infrastructure to support those workloads, but also do they have the budgets, right, to support those as well? So, successful POC, now what? We have to wait for the next budget cycle to really work with the CIO and the infrastructure team to plan. How do we embed this into the estate?
Well, from what you say, it looks to me like AI is progressing at its pace. It's fast. It's developing fast. However, it seems that organizations are still in the old traditional way of doing budget for this year, budget for next year, and innovation cannot wait for. Example, today is September, October. We cannot wait for the next 5 months to get the next budget. We need fast, because if we're not fast, we're going to lose.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yes. So flexible spending is or the ability to pull on a pool of either capex or opex is key. I think when AI initiatives are not only driven from the top, so the board, but also from the bottom up, they then perhaps do a better job at putting together a big business case. So organizations understand what the total magnitude of implementing 5 use cases, and they can allocate that budget to the side. But if they're doing it quite ad hoc and piecemeal, yes, you have to wait for the budgetary cycles to kick in or end of year funding, right, to see what's available.
Well, since I'm in sales, I will push as much as possible to say, open your budgets, go spend, because without spending and investing, you cannot expect a good ROI or something. But I would like to ask you, since you have the, let's say, a pilot view on the territory, I would like to know which of the countries are moving fast in terms of AI adoption, which countries are lacking, because I'm looking at it from the Sarajevo perspective. Last year we were speaking about the fact that in the beginning of this AI story we have a chance as a community to be in the upper bracket. But I don't see a big progress in terms of our market, in terms of the adoption of the AI. It's just basic ChatGPT and a couple of these initiatives, such as this one, to put us at the world picture. But which countries are doing like the progress? Which countries are moving forward? Where should we look at and take some examples on how to?
So given my pipeline of opportunities across EMEA, I would say Germany. Unsurprisingly, Germany, they're making the strides to really adopt AI within small, medium, and large organizations. And I think it's interesting there because they're not playing it from a generative or an agentic first. They're taking it from we have these business problems that are affecting our P&L. What flavor of AI is needed? So it might be computer vision that monitors your shop floor to make sure people aren't shoplifting, right? It might be it might be venue and space management using computer vision. I think oftentimes organizations are on this Gen AI or agentic AI hype cycle, forgetting that there's so many other flavors of AI and machine learning that are quite mature and can actually solve the business challenges. So I think what I'm seeing in Germany is they're taking a holistic view of defining the problem set. We heard about the use cases early on stage with the keynote with Martin and Alex. So defining the use cases, but then seeing which flavor of AI. So you're not a hammer looking for a nail. Oh, we're an agentic company, we're an agentic country, but what does that mean?
Everybody is agentic to this.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I mean, 10 years ago, there were different kind of buzzwords in the industry. Now we are doing, and we are creating the new ones. But I believe that once the big hype is over, we will see the real solutions, real use cases in use. What advice would you give to the CIOs and to the CEOs of the organizations? From your experience, from your perspective, how should CEOs, CIOs, and the organizations themselves behave in this new way of?
Yeah, so CIOs and CIO teams are in a tricky position, right? Because they have to provide the infrastructure, for the models to run. I'm not saying they have to build a on-prem data center, but they have to figure out how do they cope with these workloads for, CPU, GPU, parallel processing, addressing latency, privacy, and all those things? I think when I speak to a number of CIOs, they have no idea, to be quite honest, because this is new to them, right? They haven't had to buy AI-enabled servers. They don't know how many GPUs they need for their workloads, right? So we do a lot of sizing, as model sizing as a pre-sales activity. And a couple have raised their hand and say, we don't know. And I think that's just endemic to where we are now. I think in 5 years, they're going to be able to go online at a marketplace and say, I need these number of servers, these number of CPU nodes, and 20 GPU, right? So that's where they are. So don't be afraid to seek organizations that are willing to help them through that journey versus just flogging kit. And just so you don't know, if it's a good partner that's helping you provide that service, they'll be able to realistically talk you through an infrastructure that will allow you to scale. So you're not buying too much, right? That's just going to sit costing you money, but you're going to be able to better understand what the portfolio of infrastructure is available for AI and how to best scale it. I think the CEOs, it's all about the bottom line and creating value for your customer, creating value for your employees, and also the shareholders. So don't automate away a system that is skewed to just creating shareholder value simply because your customers will leave. On stage, I gave the example of, have you ever lost your phone in an Uber? And then part of the recovery process is that it calls your phone? That makes absolutely no sense. So in that example, the process AI has been used, but not in a good way that's giving value to me as an employee, as a customer, sorry. That means I'll leave, right? Yeah. Unfortunately in London, it's just Uber, so I don't have anywhere else to go. But from a CEO perspective, think about your balance sheet, think about the problems that you have, and when you're automating or implementing AI, think about the value communities you have to keep an eye on.
And I have to ask you, when you speak to the organizations, we usually have to speak with IT and the business. Are the IT guys afraid of losing their importance or their value in the organizations? Because,
I think they're feeling pressure because what I'm seeing is that these lines of business, they have their own discretionary budget, CapEx and OpEx, and they can go to a vendor and say, hey, can you help me figure out what problem, what solution I need for this problem? And then they hand it over to the IT guy, say, you need to run it, right? Yeah. So they're not necessarily bringing them into the conversation. I think this is kind of akin to when businesses went online. I was around for that in my career, right? I worked as a consultant with this organization that does accreditation for accountants, ACCA, and the CIO was literally hiding because every time it was open registration and students can register for their exams, the site would fall over, right? So I don't think CIO teams are thinking that they'll no longer be needed. I feel like they're feeling the pressure to provide a service for something that's new, not waste any budget, and make sure that it's scalable. So it's an education piece they need to go through, which is what I was alluding to earlier.
I have 2 more questions.
Yes.
And then I'll leave you to go and join the rest of the summit. And the first one is, where do you see this AI scene in the next 10 years? So in 2020, in 2036, I'm in the fiscal 26.
Okay.
Due to so I'm still, but 10 years from now on, how do you see the market? It's the toughest question
It's
today.
the toughest question.
Yeah.
I need AI to help me, be able to project that far in the future. I think, I don't know. It would be good to tell you what I would like to see. I would like to see organizations embed AI into their processes, right? Because a recommendation engine is a recommendation engine. It's how it's embedded into an existing process to be optimized for the outcome you're looking for. So I hope they would have gotten better at not just saying, here you go, here's this tool, right? But thinking about business process redesign, thinking about adoption for their employees so that they could really transform into an AI-driven, data-driven organization. I think there'll be a period of continued shortcuts, like here's Copilot, go wild, and lack of adoption would mean they'd really need to take a step back and rethink how they're using it. I think in 2036, I just hope they'd have gotten better. I think they hope they'd have gotten better. Maybe a new AI specialism would have come out. So generative and agentic is dominating the agenda. Hopefully by 2036 we would have gotten that right, and there would have been some other new AI technology. Although they're predicting it's AI winter, so no new technology is coming out from an AI perspective anytime soon.
Hopefully, I want to see the good guys winning in terms of security, in terms of the usage. My personal opinion is that there are a lot of people out there who are trying to use AI for the negative stuff, for the bad stuff. But somehow I'm an optimist, and I think that the ethics will, in the end, win. And the last question is directly from Sarajevo.
Okay.
Because we don't have a lot of corporations in Sarajevo. We have a couple of them, and we wanna strengthen the IT community and ecosystem. And it's maybe not even a question, but a statement. We would like to have a Lenovo office in Sarajevo in the future, because Bosnia and the whole Adriatic region is full of really talented people. We have the history of good engineers from Energo Invest and the previous stuff. So is there a chance or an idea where we can see sometimes on a big screen a Lenovo sign in our country?
I hope so. As I mentioned earlier, we have priority markets for AI in the 25-26 fiscal year. But my colleague behind me, he's been advocating for Southeastern Europe. We definitely figure out how to build our presence as a Lenovo perspective. Maybe that regional headquarters is in Sarajevo, right?
Definitely, a couple of these companies are doing it, and they are delivering a success. So we'll be happy to help provide all of the infrastructure, be there for the connections, for the local presence, and we'll be happy to have you.
Yeah, that would be good. Definitely on my list to figure out within the coming fiscal years.
Simone, thank you very much.
No, thank you for the opportunity.